Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. It's time for a truth bomb. Too many people are confusing suffering with love. They think pain, sacrifice, and endless struggle equal devotion. But I'm here to tell you that's a lie. Pure and simple. Suffering is not love. Suffering is not love. Love doesn't break you down. Love doesn't make you lose yourself. Real love lifts you up. It challenges you to be better. It honors your worth. When you're hurting more than you're growing, it's not love. It's something else. It's fear. It's control. It's a mask for something toxic. Too many times, people walk around carrying this heavy burden, thinking that if they're hurting, it must mean they're loving deeply. But that's a dangerous misconception. Suffering, pain, and sacrifice, these are not the currency of love. They're often signs that something is wrong, something that needs to be changed, something that needs to be recognized for what it truly is. Love, in its purest form, is not supposed to leave you broken or drained. It is not meant to shatter your spirit or dim your light. Love is a force that nourishes, that strengthens, that encourages you to grow into the best version of yourself. When you find yourself in a place where you are constantly hurting, where your heart feels heavy and your soul feels worn, it's time to question what you're calling love. Now, let me be clear. Love isn't always easy. Real love requires effort, compromise, patience, and sometimes tough conversations. But effort and compromise don't mean sacrificing your dignity or well-being. There's a line between working through challenges and suffering in silence. And that line is where so many people get lost. The idea that suffering is proof of love comes from a place of misunderstanding, sometimes from cultural messages, sometimes from stories we've heard since childhood. But just because something is widely believed doesn't make it true. It's easy to mistake endurance for love. To think that if you stick around through the hard times, that's loyalty or devotion. But endurance without respect and kindness is just endurance. It's not love, it's endurance of pain. And here's the hard truth. Enduring pain does not make you stronger if it's the kind of pain that breaks you down. Strength is not about how much suffering you can take. It's about knowing your value and having the courage to protect it. True strength comes when you recognize that love should never hurt you to the point where you lose yourself. When love becomes the source of your suffering, it's no longer love, it's a warning sign. Love does not trap you in cycles of misery. It does not ask you to lose your voice, your dreams, or your peace. Love frees you. It liberates your spirit and fills you with hope, not despair. When you start to see that suffering isn't love, you open the door to healthier relationships where you are respected, cherished, and supported. It's time to shift the narrative. Stop glorifying the pain. Stop confusing sacrifice for love. Sacrifice is noble when it's mutual and balanced, but when it's one-sided and leaves you empty, it's something else entirely. It's something that's disguised as love, but is really a trap that keeps you from thriving. Recognizing this takes courage because it means challenging long-held beliefs and sometimes stepping away from situations or people you've invested in deeply. But remember, walking away from suffering called love is not weakness. It's the ultimate act of self-love. It's saying to yourself, I deserve better. I deserve a love that uplifts, not one that breaks me down. When you stop calling suffering love, you begin to reclaim your power. You start to demand relationships that nourish your soul and bring joy to your life. You stop settling for less than you deserve and open yourself to the possibility of true love. Love that is patient, kind, and freeing. Don't let anyone tell you that enduring pain is the price you must pay to be loved. That's a lie that keeps people stuck in cycles of unhappiness and despair. You were created for so much more than that. You were created for joy, for peace, and for love that fills your heart without emptying your soul. So the next time you feel the weight of suffering and hear yourself call it love, stop, pause, reflect. Ask yourself, is this really love, or am I just holding on to pain because I'm afraid to let go? Because here's the thing, love should never make you afraid. It should never make you question your worth. Love should remind you who you are and lift you higher. Break free from the chains of suffering masquerading as love. Step into a new chapter where love is healing, where love is empowering, where love is real. Love is supposed to lift you up. It's supposed to make you feel stronger, braver, and more alive. Not weaker, not smaller, not broken. Yet too many people settle for a love that tears them down, a love that chips away at their confidence, a love that leaves them feeling less than who they truly are. That's not love. That's something else, something disguised to look like love, but in reality, it's destructive. Think about this. When you're in the presence of someone who truly loves you, you don't question your worth. You don't shrink back in fear. You don't feel like you have to change who you are to be acceptable. Real love makes you stand taller. It strengthens your voice, sharpens your vision, and ignites your spirit. It's not a burden to carry. It's a light to follow. When love breaks you down, it's stealing from you. It's robbing you of your joy, your peace, your very sense of self. Love that tears down your self-esteem or chips away at your confidence isn't love at all. It's manipulation. It's control. It's something far from the freedom and respect that real love promises. Now, make no mistake, real love isn't always easy. Sometimes it challenges you to grow, to change, to push beyond your comfort zone. But here's the key. It challenges you to be better, not to be less. It asks you to stretch, not to break. It demands accountability, not submission. When love challenges you, it's because it sees your potential. It believes in you. Love uplifts by holding you accountable without tearing you down. It encourages you when you're discouraged. It celebrates your victories, big and small. It helps you heal when you're hurt, and it walks beside you when the road gets rough. It's a partnership, not a battle. If you find yourself constantly doubting, feeling small, or questioning your value in a relationship, it's a red flag. That's not love lifting you up. That's love holding you back. That's love limiting your potential, not expanding it. Love is a powerful force. It shapes who we are and who we become. And when it's true, it transforms us in ways we never thought possible. It gives us courage to face our fears, strength to overcome obstacles, and hope to keep moving forward. That's the kind of love you deserve, not the kind that drags you down into darkness. Remember, the people we allow into our lives have the power to either build us up or tear us down. Choose those who build you up. Surround yourself with people who see your greatness and push you to be it every day. Those who uplift you will never ask you to dim your light to make them comfortable. When love uplifts, it frees you to be your true self without fear or shame. It gives you space to grow, to explore, to dream bigger, and it gives you a foundation of support when life tries to knock you off your path. So, if love is breaking you down, it's time to ask yourself why you're letting it. It's time to stand up and say, I am worthy of love that lifts me higher, not one that holds me down. It's time to seek out love that encourages you, challenges you, and ultimately makes you stronger. Because at the end of the day, love should never diminish who you are. It should amplify it. It should be the wind beneath your wings, not the chain around your ankles. It should inspire you to rise, not to fall. Stand tall. Demand love that lifts you up, and don't settle for anything less. Sacrifice. It's a word that carries weight. A word that's often celebrated, glorified, and misunderstood. We've been taught that sacrifice is noble, that it's a mark of true love and commitment. But here's the truth you need to hear. Not all sacrifice is worthy of your respect. Not all sacrifice is a sign of love. Sometimes sacrifice is just pain dressed up in a pretty package. And if you're not careful, you'll start to romanticize it, to wear it like a badge of honor, when really it's holding you back. Let me break it down for you. Sacrifice means giving something up for something else. In relationships, it means compromise, understanding, putting the other person's needs sometimes before your own. That's part of love. It's real, and it's necessary. But sacrifice doesn't mean giving up your identity, your peace, or your happiness. It doesn't mean staying in a situation that drains you just because you think it's what love demands. Romanticizing sacrifice means you start to believe that suffering and struggle are proof of how much you care. You think if you're hurting, it must mean you're doing something right. You start to measure love by how much you're willing to endure instead of how much you're willing to grow. That's a trap, plain and simple. True love doesn't require you to lose yourself. It doesn't ask you to suffer in silence or accept pain as part of the deal. When you sacrifice your mental health, your dreams, your voice, or your boundaries, you're not sacrificing for love. You're sacrificing for survival. And survival is not living. We've all heard stories of people sacrificing everything for love. But what happens when the sacrifice becomes all consuming? What happens when you give so much of yourself that there's nothing left? That's not love. That's a warning sign. Sacrifice should be mutual. It should be balanced. When both people are willing to give and take, to bend and adjust, that's where love thrives. But if it's one-sided, if you're always the one giving and never the one receiving, that's not love. That's exploitation. You deserve to be in a relationship where your sacrifices are recognized, appreciated, and returned. You deserve a love where you don't have to constantly fight to be seen or heard. You deserve a love that nurtures you as much as you nurture it. Romanticizing sacrifice keeps you stuck. It makes you stay in situations that hurt you because you think suffering is proof of love. But suffering is never proof of love. It's proof of pain. And pain is a signal to change course, to protect yourself, to demand better. It takes courage to stop romanticizing sacrifice. It takes strength to say, no, I won't accept pain as a sign of love. It takes wisdom to recognize when your sacrifice is actually harming you more than helping the relationship. The real power comes when you redefine sacrifice, when you see it not as losing yourself, but as choosing to give, because it brings you joy, not because it breaks you. When you make sacrifices that uplift both you and the person you love, that's when love becomes truly transformative. So don't fall for the lie that love is about endless sacrifice at your own expense. Don't glorify the struggle or the pain. Instead, seek love that respects your boundaries, honors your worth, and allows you to thrive. Because at the end of the day, love should never cost you your happiness. It should never demand you lose yourself. Love that's worth having is balanced, respectful, and built on mutual sacrifice, not one-sided suffering. Remember, your value isn't measured by how much you suffer in love. It's measured by how much you love yourself enough to walk away from anything that diminishes you. Recognizing toxic patterns, that's a game changer. It's the difference between staying stuck and stepping into your power. Far too many people get caught in cycles where pain, disappointment, and heartbreak become the norm, and they keep calling it love. But that's not love. It's a trap, a pattern that keeps repeating itself until you finally wake up and say, enough. Toxic patterns don't happen overnight. They sneak in slowly, dressed up in excuses and promises. They look like love at first, but if you watch closely, you start to see the cracks, the lies, the disrespect, the manipulation. Toxicity isn't always loud and dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, subtle, creeping into your life until it's all you know. One toxic pattern is control disguised as care. When someone uses love to limit your freedom, to make you doubt yourself, to keep you small, that's toxic. Another is inconsistency, hot and cold behavior that leaves you confused and anxious, always walking on eggshells. Emotional neglect, verbal abuse, disrespect, these are signs. They're warning flags waving right in front of you. Recognizing these patterns requires clarity and courage. It means being honest with yourself about what's really happening, not what you wish was happening. It means peeling back the layers of denial and excuses to see the truth for what it is. The hardest part. Sometimes toxic patterns feel familiar. Sometimes they feel like home, but home shouldn't hurt. Home should be your safe place, your sanctuary. If the people or situations in your life consistently cause pain, it's not home, it's a prison. When you recognize toxic patterns, you have a choice: stay and suffer, or step out and heal. Choosing to step out isn't weakness, it's strength. It's standing up for your worth. It's saying, I deserve better. But breaking free is just the beginning. Healing takes time and intentional effort. It means learning to set boundaries, to speak your truth, to rebuild your self-esteem. It means surrounding yourself with people who lift you up, who respect you, who encourage your growth. Toxic patterns often repeat because we don't believe we deserve better. We don't believe we can find love that respects and cherishes us. But that belief is a lie. You do deserve better. You are worthy of love that's kind, consistent, and true. Awareness is the first step. When you recognize the signs of toxicity, you gain power. Power to change your story, power to protect your heart, power to choose love that honors your worth. Don't let toxic patterns define you. Don't let them convince you that pain is normal or that suffering is love. That's a lie that keeps you trapped. Break the cycle. Demand the love that lifts you up instead of tearing you down. You owe it to yourself to recognize toxic patterns and walk away from anything that doesn't serve your growth and happiness. You owe it to yourself to create a life filled with respect, joy, and love that uplifts. Stand strong, stay vigilant, and never settle for anything less than the love you deserve. You deserve joy and respect. Say it again, because it's a truth too many forget in the heat of struggle and sacrifice. You deserve it, plain and simple. Not someday, not after you've proved yourself, but right now, today, this very moment. Joy is not just some fleeting feeling, it's a state of being. It's the deep satisfaction that comes when your heart is at peace and your soul feels free. And respect. Respect is the foundation on which love, trust, and dignity are built. Without respect, there is no real love. It's that simple. Too often, people settle for less joy, less respect, because they think that's all they're worth. Because they've been told to endure, to sacrifice, to accept pain as part of love. But you don't have to settle for that. You were created for joy, for honor, for dignity. Joy is your birthright. It's the light that keeps you going on the darkest days. It's the smile that comes from within, not from outside approval. When you have joy, you carry a strength that no hardship can shake. Joy makes you resilient, hopeful, and alive. Respect is just as critical. It means being seen and valued for who you are, not who someone else wants you to be. It means your boundaries are honored, your voice is heard, and your feelings matter. Respect is not negotiable. It's the non-negotiable demand you must make in every relationship. When you demand respect, you set a standard for how people treat you. You teach them what is acceptable and what isn't. You protect your heart and your dignity. And when you live with joy, you attract energy that uplifts you and propels you forward. No one can give you joy and respect if you don't give it to yourself first. Self-respect and self-love are the roots that nourish your soul. Without them, it's easy to fall into patterns where suffering is mistaken for love, where pain becomes normal, and where joy feels out of reach. You must become your own champion. You must stand up and declare that you will not accept anything less than joy and respect in your life. This means saying no to anything that diminishes your spirit or diminishes your worth. Remember, joy and respect are not rewards for perfection. They are your right, even when you're flawed, even when you stumble, even when you're healing. They are constants you carry inside, anchors that keep you grounded. When you embrace this truth, you start making choices that align with it. You leave relationships that don't honor you. You walk away from situations that steal your peace. You surround yourself with people who celebrate you, who lift you up, who see your worth. Living with joy and respect means living authentically. It means showing up as your true self without apology or fear. It means trusting that you are enough just as you are. So stand firm on this truth. You deserve joy and respect. Not someday, not after the struggle, but now. Demand it in every relationship, every moment, every day. Because when you claim your joy and respect, you open the door to a life filled with love that's real, deep, and lasting. Strength. It's a word that's thrown around a lot, but do we really understand what it means? Too many people think strength is about endurance, how much you can take before you break. But real strength is knowing when to walk away. Walking away is not weakness. It's not giving up. It's not failure. It's courage in its purest form. It takes guts to stand up, look at a situation honestly, and say, this isn't good for me anymore. It takes bravery to let go of what's familiar, even if it's painful, and step into the unknown. You see, staying in something that hurts you, that diminishes your spirit, that drains your soul, doesn't make you strong. It makes you stuck. It keeps you trapped in cycles of pain and disappointment. But walking away is breaking those chains. It's choosing freedom over fear. It's saying, I value myself enough to leave behind what's harmful. Too often, people confuse endurance with strength. They think if they can survive the pain, the struggle, the disrespect, then they're strong. But surviving is not thriving. Surviving is not what you were made for. Strength is about recognizing your worth and protecting it fiercely. It's about setting boundaries and holding firm when those boundaries are tested. It's about having the clarity to see when a relationship, a job, a situation is no longer serving your growth, and having the resolve to walk away without regret. Walking away doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about yourself to make the hard choice. It means you understand that sometimes love means knowing when to let go, because holding on to the wrong thing only keeps you from the right thing. Think about the power in that moment. The moment you decide you won't settle for less than you deserve. The moment you choose peace over chaos, respect over neglect, joy over suffering. That moment is your strength. It's not easy. It's messy. It's scary. But it's necessary. Because until you walk away from what's breaking you, you can't open the door to what will heal you. And here's the truth: walking away is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where you reclaim your power, your dignity, your future. A chapter where you say yes to yourself first. Remember, strength isn't measured by how long you endure pain. It's measured by your willingness to protect your soul and choose yourself, even when it's hard, even when it means stepping into uncertainty. So if you find yourself in a place that steals your joy, breaks your spirit, or dims your light, know this: you have the strength to walk away. You have the power to say, I deserve better. And when you do, you make room for the love, the peace, and the life you were meant to live. Stand tall, be brave, walk away, because that is real strength. Listen, the stories we tell ourselves shape our reality. The narrative you hold about love, about yourself, about what you deserve, it either builds you up or tears you down. For too long, many have been living a story where suffering is mistaken for love, where pain is accepted as proof of devotion. But it's time to rewrite that story. It's time to write a new chapter rooted in truth. Truth is powerful. It frees you. It clears the fog of confusion and denial that keeps you stuck in unhealthy patterns. When you start telling yourself the truth, that suffering is not love, that you deserve respect, joy, and peace, everything changes. Rewriting your story means you stop blaming yourself for the pain you've endured. It means you stop accepting responsibility for other people's actions that hurt you. It means you recognize your worth independent of how others have treated you. This new story demands honesty. Honesty with yourself about what you've been through, what you've tolerated, and what you will no longer accept. It means facing uncomfortable truths, but doing so with courage and grace. When you rewrite your story with truth, you reclaim your power. You take back the narrative of your life. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start being the author of your future. This isn't just about relationships. It's about your entire life. The way you see yourself affects every decision you make, every boundary you set, every step you take forward. It's time to stop calling suffering love. Time to stop excusing behavior that diminishes you. Time to stand firm in the truth that you are worthy of real, healthy, uplifting love. And here's the best part. When you rewrite your story with truth, you open the door to new possibilities. You create space for relationships that honor and respect you. You attract energy and people who align with your highest good. Changing your story takes time. It's a process. There will be setbacks. There will be moments of doubt. But each time you return to the truth, you grow stronger. Remember, the pen is in your hand. You have the power to write a story that reflects your worth, your dignity, and your capacity to love and be loved well. So start now. Start rewriting your story with truth, because when you do, you don't just change your love life, you change your life. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to stop confusing pain with love. It's time to stand up, open your eyes, and demand the love you truly deserve. Love that uplifts, respects, and brings you joy. You are not meant to suffer in silence or sacrifice your worth for something less than real. Recognize the toxic patterns, know your value, and have the strength to walk away when it no longer serves you. Rewrite your story with truth, because the life you want, the love you deserve, starts with the choices you make today. Remember this: real love builds you up. It doesn't break you down. It sets you free. It doesn't chain you. So don't settle for less. Choose yourself. Choose joy. Choose respect. And above all, choose love that honors the incredible person you are. That's the message. That's the power. Now go live it.